In this video, I am going to tell you how the sound energy is transduced into the electrical energy by the hydrodynamics and the mechanical apparatus of the cochlea. Hey everyone, welcome back to HM Learnings. I am Harshita, the creator of HM Learnings, where students come to clear their concept and to get the study material. Make sure that you have subscribed my channel. You can also follow HM Learnings on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And in today's video, we are going to talk about the mechanism of hearing, which is actually the part 3, I guess, of this hearing series. So in this video, we are actually going to discuss that how the sound energy is converted. It's transduced into the electrical energy, and we have actually seen in the previous video that the sound travels first the external ear, and then there is impedance matching or the sound amplification which is happening in the middle ear, and then it is going to cause a movement of the oval window, and how that movement of the oval window is get transferred, or you can say reach at the level of the organ of Cotai and then the hair cells, and then finally to the Met channels where basically the transaction is going to happen. So in between these two events, that is from the movement of the oval window to the opening of the Met channels, how this is happening. So we are going to discuss about that also, as well as after the opening of the Met channels, how the transduction, how the action potential is going to be generated in the efferent fibers, that also we are going to discuss. So there is one, this thing was mentioned actually in the candle, and it says that mechanical apparatus and the hydrodynamics of the cochlea supports the mechanical energy transduction to electrical energy. So mechanical energy is basically the sound energy, and electrical energy is basically, you can say, the receptive potential or the action potential, which then travels along its path by the auditory pathway to finally to the auditory cortex, and we hear them or interpret as a sound. So here the mechanical apparatus of the cochlea is basically the basilar membrane, the tectorial membrane and the hair cells, which facilitates this transduction process, and hydrodynamics is basically the fluid movement in the cochlea. So we know that we have three chambers, we have three fluid-filled chambers in the cochlea, that is scala vestibuli, scala tympani and scala media. So they have endolymph and they have perilymph. So how does the movement in this fluids is actually going to support this transduction process? So we know that there is a movement of the oval window. Now this movement of the oval window can be in two directions. It could be inward and it could be outward, which is going to generate the convection current. So basically the fluid is having the movements, which is called as a hydrodynamics. So how this movement of the fluid is going to be reach at the level of the receptor, that is the organ of hearing, that is basically the organ of Cotai, and then the hair cells, and then finally there is opening of the Met channels, that we are going to look in this video. So first is that we have seen actually in the very first video of mechanism of hearing that the sound has two phases. It has rarefaction phase and it has a compression phase. Okay, so I'm sorry, this spelling is wrong. This must be the rarefaction spelling. So what happens during rarefaction, what happens during compression, I have already described in the first video, so please go and watch that video. So what happens when there is a rarefaction, how the ear responds, how the inner ear or the cochlea responds when there is a rarefaction, or how the mechanical apparatus or how the hydrodynamic responds when there is a rarefaction phase of the sound wave. Similarly, how the hydrodynamic and the mechanical apparatus response when there is a compression phase of the sound wave. So we can start talking about the rarefaction phase of the sound wave first. So first there is an outward movement of the tympanic membrane which is happening during the rarefaction. So outward movement is towards outer side, showing by the help of this arrow, and then the sound is going to travel this movement. Not the sound actually, this mechanical movement is going to be traveled, amplified, or impedance matching is going to be done in this middle ear ossicles, and then finally it is also going to cause the outward window, oval window outward movement. So because of that, what happens, we know that the cochlea is basically situated in a bony case, and because it is bony, it is incompressible, so any change in the pressure will be transmitted to other part also, and here similarly happens that there is a change in the pressure of the scala vestibuli, which is actually going to transmitted to the scala tympani also. So relatively what happens, that the scala vestibuli pressure becomes lesser than the scala tympani pressure. So As a result, what happens, there is a upward bowing of the basilar membrane. So scala vestibuli pressure lowers down the scala tympani pressure, which is going to cause the upward movement of the basilar membrane shown in this diagram. Because of that, what happens, we have seen in the previous video that the outer hair cells, they are attached to the tectural membrane, but the inner hair cells, they are not attached to the tectural membrane. So because of that, because of the upward movement of the basilar membrane, the shear force is generated between the tectural membrane and the outer cells, which is going to cause the movement of the stereocilia, which is going to cause the movement of the hair bundle along their axis of mechanosensitivity, which is horizontal axis, which is going to cause their movement. If there is upward movement, this is going to cause the movement of the stereocilia towards the tallest stereocilia, which is going to cause a depolarization of the outer hair cells. So how it happens that if the stereocilia is bending towards the tallest stereocilia, why it is causing the depolarization, we are going to see in the upcoming slides. So but from this slide, you have to understand that the rarefaction phase of the sound wave is going to cause a depolarization of the outer hair cells by causing the upward movement of the basilar membrane. Now the opposite is going to happen during the compression phase of the sound wave. So during the compression, what happens, the pressure is actually high in the sound wave, which is going to cause the inward movement of the tympanic membrane. Then this mechanical movement is transmitted via the ear ossicles, and finally it is also going to cause the inward movement of the oval window, and as a result, the scala vestibuli pressure becomes larger than the scala tympani pressure relatively, which is going to cause the downward movement of the basilar membrane. So here there is a downward movement of basilar membrane, and because the outer hair cells are attached to the tectural membrane, again there is a shear force which is generated between the outer hair cells and the tectural membrane, which is here going to cause the bending of the stereocilia away from the tallest stereocilia. So here you can see the bending is towards the tallest stereocilia when there is upward movement of the basilar membrane, but here the downward movement of basilar membrane is going to cause the movement of the bending of the stereocilia away from the tallest stereocilia, which is going to cause a hyperpolarization of the outer hair cell. So why it is happening that the bending but towards the tallest stereocilia is going to cause a depolarization, and bending away from the tallest stereocilia is going to cause a hyperpolarization is actually explained by this diagram. So in this diagram, you can see what is happening. This is the tallest stereocilia, and when there is a bending towards this stereocilia, what is happening, that there is opening of the channels, and these channels are mechanical electrical transduction channels. So these channels are non-specific cation channels which allow the influx of mostly the potassium, because potassium is in the higher concentration in the endolimb, and small amount of the calcium also. So what is happening, that when there is the shear force generated within the tectural membrane and the outer hair cell is causing the bending towards the outer the tallest stereocilia, what happens, these are the tip links, and actually we have discussed about the tip links also in the previous video, that these are the spring proteins, and because of that, what happens, that this spring basically extends, and this is actually attached to the channel, and this is actually going to cause the opening of these channels. So the spring protein or the tippling protein, one edge of this spring protein is actually attached to the channel, and the another edge is attached to the adjacent taller stereocilia. So this is when the mechanical force is applied to the shear force is applied to the stereocilia, that mechanical force is actually transferred to the tip links, and this tip links, because of the mechanical force, will be get extended, which is going, because it has an attachment with the channel, it is going to pull the gate of the channel and open the gate, and that is how the potassium influx happens. Because of potassium influx, what happens is depolarization of the cell, which is going to cause the opening of the voltage gated calcium channel, which is going to cause the calcium influx and the release of the glutamate vesicles, leading to the generation of action potential in the F1 fibers. So this is what this is how the depolarization is happening when the stereocilia is bending towards the tallest stereocilia. Now what happens when there is a bending away from the tallest stereocilia? In that case, because the tip links, they are not extended here, what happens is that they actually close the channel. Even the channels which are open at the wrist, those channels are also going to be closed, and that is cause a decrease in the potassium concentration inside the cell, which is going to cause the hyperpolarization, and hence there is no opening of the voltage gated calcium channel and very little release of the transmitters is actually happening. So this is how the bending, the upward movement of the basal membrane and the downward movement of the basal membrane during the rarefaction and the compression respectively causes the depolarization and the hyperpolarization respectively in the outer hair cell. So after this, what happens is that the outer hair cells, there are two scenarios now. If the outer hair cells are depolarized, if the outer hair cells are hyperpolarized. So if the outer hair cells are depolarized, in that case what happens, there is a motor protein called as a pristin, which is actually present in the plasma membrane of this outer hair cells. So because of increase in the calcium concentration inside the cells, what is going to happen that these motor proteins, they recruit and they cause the contraction, and when they cause the contraction, this property is called as an electromotility. This is actually going to cause the shortening of the outer hair cell. So because there is shortening of the outer hair cells, what is happening, this is actually a mechanism to maintain the sensitivity of the basilar membrane, that even when you apply the stimulus of a high intensity, it is going to cause the movement of the basilar membrane not that much. So that is how because of this mechanism, because of the presence of the pristin, it actually attenuates the upward movement of the basilar membrane. So it allows the outer hair cells to sense first the movement of the basilar membrane, and after sensing the movement of the basilar membrane, because now the movement is not longer required and the basilar membrane needs to be sensitive to the next subsequent stimulus which is going to come, this is actually going to cause a decrease in the upward movement of the basilar membrane by causing the contraction of the outer hair cell by the pristin. So this is very important mechanism in order to maintain the mechanosensitivity. The patients which lack this or which don't able their outer hair cells are not able to contract, they have an impaired hearing. So after that, what happens because of this, that the endolymph moves within the tectural membrane towards its tips. This can be cleared actually in this diagram. So you can see here that there is an upward movement of the basilar membrane, which is going to cause a depolarization of the outer hair cells, and there will be contraction of the outer cells, and due to this, what is going to happen is that the endolymph is actually moving beneath, that is inside the basilar membrane, or you can say beneath the not the basilar membrane, within the tectural membrane towards its tip. So as the endolymph moves it moves towards the tip of the tectural membrane, what happens is that this bending of the hair cells, bending of the stereocilia towards the tallest stereocilia, which is going to cause a depolarization in the inner hair cell by the same mechanism as I just described. Okay, so here you can remember that the endolymph moves within the tectural membrane towards its tips. This is going to cause a bending of the stereocilia in the inner hair cell towards the tallest stereocilia, which is going to cause the opening of the mechanical-electrical transaction channels, and this is going to cause a potassium influx leading to repolarization, opening of the voltage-gated calcium channel, release of the neurotransmitter, and generation of the action potential in the F1 nerve fibers. The opposite is going to happen if there is hyperpolarization of the outer hair cell because of the downward movement of the basilar membrane. This is going to, by this mechanism, there is going to be elongation of the outer hair cell, which is going to attenuate the downward movement of the basilar membrane. And in here, what is going to happen is then the endolymph is going to move back. Okay, it is not going, it is actually moving opposite to the direction, to the tip of the tectural membrane, and this is going to cause a bending of the hair cells, bending of the inner hair cells away from the tallest stereocilia, which is going to cause a decrease in the intracellular potassium concentration, leading to hyperpolarization of the inner hair cell, and it is going to cause a reduced release of the neurotransmitter. So this is what the mechanism of hearing is about, that how the two things, the mechanical apparatus which involves the tectural membrane, the basilar membrane, and the hair cells, and the hydrodynamics, that is the movement of the endolymph and the perilymph also, is going to help, it is actually going to convert the sound energy or the mechanical energy. They convey that energy up to the level of the mid channels, and then after that there will be a release of the neurotransmitter by the mechanism I described. So if you like this video, please like, share and comment down your suggestions for the upcoming video, and please subscribe to our channel. Till then, keep learning.